Powell trades, legit or just another Alex G? In this video, we're going to be trading his strategy for 30 days to find out the truth.
And to make things interesting, I'm going to be trading my own funded accounts.
So what I've taken from Powell, the key levels are essentially going to be my liquidity vision, since that's just beautiful. And then I also don't want to be too confused where Powell Strategy is telling me to buy and my own vision is telling me to sell, you know, sort of those things. So as the liquidity vision, as the zones, key levels, whatever you want to call it, we're going to keep it at my liquidity vision. Entry is famous for using the rejection blocks, a bit of a fib once it comes to continuation trades, which I'll show you. I've taken a few of those. And a 10 a.m. open, which it has also got me a beautiful trade and actually some crazy precision. I'm gonna show you guys the trade later. But first and foremost, you always gotta test things out before you get your feet wet on the live market, okay? So we went into the backtesting software. We tested out the strategy for quite a few times. This is the results for 1 year, 94R, which is amazing. It's great. On Forex, I have years where I've done 115R, but this is still awesome, knowing that I also don't know much about the strategy and there's no refinements in this. 50% win rate, which is great, knowing that we're taking about 4.7R at each trade. Okay, we can continue to another backtesting session where we do the available months for 2026, where we had as well 62R in just 3 months. This is absolutely insane. Okay, 42% win rate, 7R in these trades. I was being kind of greedy, but hey, I guess this strategy allows that. And if we can maintain the win rate at 40%, that's great. But let's be real now. Backtesting results are not exactly replicated into the live markets if not done properly. Okay, so on live results, this is what we got for the 30 days. All right, not amazing, not flashy, but profitable, with one big winner at the end, which we'll break down. But there's a lot of break evens, a couple wins where I trailed the stop loss, and this is where the refinements are going to come in, because I don't know whether to trail it or not trail it, because NQ likes to do unnecessary retests, for example, instead of just running from there. So sometimes I would have been good if I protected myself at break even, for example. At another times, I'm just better if I don't even touch the stop loss. And here's a perfect example right here. In this trade, if I would have not trailed the stop loss and just do nothing, I would have gotten my 4 or 5R immediately. Even more if I wanted to target this liquidity, for example. But I did trail it even here, which is where I got tagged out, and then price ran just afterwards. But on the next trade here, I knew that price could have easily bounced from this liquidity, because we're going from one liquidity to another. Now it could have possibly went higher or continued to head lower. And because of that, I started to trail my stop loss aggressively, so I protected myself there. Now this is where there's a lot of work to do, and we got to combine everything together and figure out which management gives us the best results and also what's best for our psychology. And this was the best Powell trades we got. Notice how the price keeps going up, where we top tick the markets in one single shot, 5.5R in 2 of our funded accounts. You can see how we swept some liquidity from the previous days, but we didn't immediately went down, which I don't like because it makes the chart kind of unclear. So we continue to go up and up and up and up. And how do you top tick this without getting stopped out? And there were 2 big factors for this to work out. The first one is the rejection block.
Rejection blocks are the GOAT.
So if you're looking to short, please look out for a rejection candle that is bearish. If you're looking to buy, look for one with a long wick that's bullish. Okay, so as you can see, this move keeps going up, 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 up. As soon as we have a rejection candle with a long wick that's bearish, I put myself there, and we come into the second factor, which is the 10 a.m. open.
We can go down in time frame and we can expect our 10 a.m. open to go in one direction and then for it to manipulate in the other direction.
As soon as that candle closes, we put our entry at the open within the very wick of the rejection block, and the next candle usually tags us in with a sniper entry, price just goes down beautifully. I trailed it aggressively at this point because I'm already 5R floating. Okay, so there's not much point to risk it. And yeah, you could have went all the way back down to this very liquidity being a 12R. And then as we take it, all right, it isn't a beautiful zone because it's just this liquidity, but you have another rejection block right here with this wick, okay? You want to make sure it sweeps it further. It's the very last movement, either the top or the bottom. And this is how you're going to bottom tick or top tick the market. Okay, so you would have left it right here. Even though the second candle didn't touch it by a freaking inch. But later on, we came to it. With prop firms trust getting lower and lower, I decided to stick to one of the most established names in the industry, the Fivers. They've been around since 2016 whilst consistently being ranked amongst the top firms. With zero payout denials and over $40 million in payout split, they're probably also the only firm that allows you to get a challenge as little as $5,000 and scale it all the way up to $500K. If you feel like scaling it even further, you can try out their bootcamp challenge, which allows you to double your account at each 5% performance, going all the way up to $4 million. The Fivers is designed for long-term traders with no consistency rule and no time limits on challenges. And to add to all of this, they are also expanding to futures. So if you want to try them out, just check the description and use my code for a nice little gift. Alright, on to the video. Other examples of rejection blocks could be this bullish wick right here. This one, you can see it's bearish and it swept some liquidity. Make sure it sweeps some liquidity. We're not just using rejection blocks all over the place. Otherwise, we would be unprofitable. Okay, this one right here.
This is another problem. How the hell didn't I get tagged in there? And look how much I could have gotten.
We also got some trades on the fib.
This is how I would mark the fib in this case. From high to low. When we start retracing, I'm going to draw my fib.
This is where I like to do some continuation trades. When we don't get to position ourselves on the initial move, we just try to catch the second leg on the OTE. Some rejection candle on M5, M1.
Okay, we didn't catch the first trade, but we caught the second.
Reaction from this. I know this is ICT and I hate on it, okay? But this is what we're doing.
It's looking very nice. Come on. That's it.
So is the strategy profitable? Yes. But like I've been saying, it needs refinements. Not on his side, but on mine. For as I don't know everything. So the stop loss management is something very important, which we were discussing. What do I do? Do I actually trail it? Do I trail it aggressive? Do I just put it at break even? Do I do nothing? That requires a lot of backtesting where we take the same trades and we put different managements on the spreadsheet and then we see which one gets the best results with the same trades. Keep in mind, use the same trades. It's very important. Same trades, different management. The trade frequency, because it might be super low for the results it's getting. So we might have to up that. Would that mean we need to get on M1? Maybe. Let's see. I'm usually more at M5 and it's much more safer. A prop firm strategy, or in other words, some sort of portfolio management where you can maximize the chances of us getting payouts, passing accounts, the risk to reward, the risk, you know, all those sort of things just to maximize our performance in the prop firm field. And then just cut off the negatives by optimizing the data, see what works, see what doesn't, just cut off what doesn't instead of just forcing it to work. For example, I've noticed for this strategy, the Thursdays are usually unprofitable. So what I do just to get more profits on my side is just cut them off. And I also noticed from Powell that he doesn't trade no news Mondays, the day before NFP, if I'm not mistaken, things like that. Rules in place to protect yourself and maximize your performance. Now, would I continue to use this strategy for the future? Yes. One reason being, it actually helps me with the consistency rule for the futures prop firms. Meaning I could just risk less and get those big winners on a much better frequency in order to get to those payout requirements. Whereas in Forex, if you don't know, I'm mostly a Forex trader, I can just be a sniper. Just get one win for the week, 2 or 3 for the month, and I'm Gucci. I've got my profitable month, I got my payout, that's all I need to do. But in futures, we all know it's different, and I'm still trying to improve on that part since I'm relatively new to it. Not even a year ago, I just started trading it, as you would have seen from my Road to Funded series on futures. But But if this video inspired you in any way to use this strategy, please do as I did and go backtest it first. Go test things out. Do not get one of these conferences and apply it on the market. I can guarantee you'll get out with negative results. So if you need a complete strategy or even just my vision and you combine it with Powell Trades conferences, then go to my description and check out my free course. And if you want me to review and evaluate another trader strategy, just let me know who in the comments and I'll try to do so. Just please don't do ICT.